Also, additionally, my grandma, who's not a Jew, yes, I'm sure, suffered a Nazi attack. I spoke about it in a different video. It's on my YouTube and all over the place. But yes, the the 6 million number, it does seem, according to what my grandma said, how the satanic Nazi cult that Hitler was a part of, the satanic cannibal shit-eating cults that Hitler and the Nazis were a part of. Like I said, they were not freedom fighters. They didn't kill any Satanists. They killed and experimented on citizens. It was a very experimental scientific war, and they took a lot of children, and they did a lot of like I said, scientific experiments. They took everyone's children. There was a gang that said they were not related to the Nazis and they just liked Hitler, but we know that it was a federal gang that was burning villages down. My non-Jewish grandma was hiding from bombs. Villages were burned down. Food was scarce, and she had to have a lot of surgeries done to her from that Nazi attack. Like I said, another thing, no one really was knocking on the doors asking, are you Jewish? Are you Jewish? Are you hiding the Jews? They were taking everybody's children. It didn't matter if you were a Jew, if you were not a Jew. They took all your kids. They killed people, shot some people on the spot. Yes, gas chambers did occur. Yes, some people did go to Auschwitz. However, there was a lot of people who there were people that had Nazi attacks, Jewish and not. Besides Auschwitz, like being shot on the spot, nobody, like I said, was knocking on doors looking for Jews. They were knocking on doors, taking all the children. Satanic cults were, didn't matter who you were, they were just burning villages down, and burning all the food, burning all the homes, and killing people for satanic rituals, saying they were just, liked Hitler, but in reality they were federal Satanists. That's obvious. And here's another funny food for thought. In the vicinity of the Russian, okay, like I said in another video, I said, to me, Russian vicinity means this. It is a area where it's either Russia plus other Russian-speaking countries, plus a lot of countries who could even be like, they could even be counted as Arabic. However, and as much as they are very proud of their own food, their own culture, their own dances, their own, singers, their own culture, just everything about their own countries, but they have a Russian influence. They have Russian food. They listen to Russian artists. They sing and speak in Russian as well. So to me, that's what I mean by Russian vicinity as well. So the whole Russia and the Russian vicinity knew these things. They knew that Hitler ate shit, and they also knew that a lot of the religious Jews, okay, the difference between a religious Jew, the religious Jews, they will follow like literally all the rules and blah blah blah. They don't even like press the elevators buttons, but the Jews that we were, because I am Jewish, so yeah, like my mom's mom is not Jewish, my mom's dad is Jewish, my father is Jewish, and so is everyone in his family. But the thing about that was, yeah, the type of Jews that we are, we had like New Year's, we had Christmas, we had Christmas and New Year's, we had Christmas decorations, not in a disrespectful way, but in a way of non-following religious. We ate bacon. I still eat bacon. This is, like I said, this is not like a anti-religion battle. This is just a regular fact of a food I do eat. And one reason for that is in growing up in my mom's country, even like even my mom, who isn't my grandma, who my mom is like in a middle age, obviously, and she said people ate bacon because the winters were so cold. And you know how people say like pig is dirty and bacon is dirty because pigs are like dirty animals? Well, the farmers, like everyone honored bacon in such a way, and it was so serious for cold and health wise and thickening of the blood, that what they did was, no matter what religion, they all ate bacon. And the farmers literally, like as if they were like, the pigs were under magnifying glass. You know, the pigs, no one played about the pigs. Nobody let the pigs eat whatever they want. They were literally under surveillance. That's the word. And, you know, the pigs were fed like good, clean stuff. So everyone loved bacon. So everyone, like, the farmers didn't play about the pigs. They did not let them do whatever they want. They did not let them eat whatever they want. They, you know, honorably took care of the pigs, but they also, like, didn't let them eat, like, crap, if that makes sense, because like I said, people don't eat bacon for religious purposes because they say pigs eat like literally whatever. But our farmers, we made sure that because the winter was so cold and the fat from the bacon like helped, from what my mom said, you know. So it wasn't like a, you know, anti-religious thing. It was more like, well, it's like good for your health because the winters were so cold, type of situation. So that's the kind of, you know, Jew that I am. I've never had a Sabbath. I never had celebrate. I don't celebrate. Like I said, this is not an anti-religion in any way. This is just my life. Never celebrated Shabbat. I never celebrated. I never had any of that. The closest thing I ever had was like, you know, I did go to a few kosher places or whatever. Those are always fun, but I don't follow anything. I'm just a Jew by blood. I'm a Jew like Jesus. I'm not a Jew like, I don't do, like, I just don't do those, the religious rituals or ceremonies or, you know, whatever. But it was also known that, and I'm gonna say this sentence, I'm gonna explain it, yeah. So there's this, what we learned was while Russian citizens who looked like regular Catholics, but they were just Jews. Like imagine like Marilyn Monroe's and like Arnold's and like Henry's, like imagine men like that plus Marilyn Monroe's and Chanel's, but you think they're all like Christian or Catholic, but they're Jews. They would just get shot on the spot, or you know, their children was taken away, or they were don't even follow Jewish holidays. But they're like that type of Jews that if they told you they're not Catholic, you're like, oh, wait a minute, hold on. You know, like we were those types of Jews when they were like shot and killed on the spot, and they were just citizens. They were citizens. They were like, you know, just regular workers, factory workers, teachers, whatever jobs they had back then, like, you know what I mean. They were not even religious. They were just Jewish by blood, and they had nothing to do with any, like, you know, because the satanic cult is global, so anyone can join, of course. So if you want to say, you know, he was against like Satanist of a specific religion, but he wasn't getting Satanists, he was getting citizens who were just regular people who were literally bacon eating, Christmas celebrating Jews, and like Christians, like my grandma, who was like literally, she was not, and you know how you'd be like, oh, you know, maybe you don't know that she was a Jew. Maybe they thought, no, like nobody. For my grandma's specific Nazi attack timeline and situation, because there was, it seems to me there was different Nazi attacks. What I mean is this: there was one where they took the concentration camps and Auschwitz and gas chambers. There seems to also have been the ones where they were looking for Jews and knocking on doors. There seems to be the one where they are claiming they looked at documents and knocking on doors. Hey, are you Jewish? Like, are you hiding Jews? But there was also my grandma, who was not a Jew. What they did was they, like I said, they knocked on the door. They took all the children because they didn't bother they didn't bother my grandma's mother or father. She also had sisters and brothers. I'm not sure what happened and why they didn't take them at the time. She has mentioned they didn't take her sisters or brothers. They were significantly younger than her. My non-Jewish grandma, when the Nazis took her, they just knocked on the door. 12 or 10 to 15 big, humongous, almost non-human looking Nazi men with like, they weren't called AK-47s, but imagine an AK-47. In Russian, she would call it an автомат. Like that's like автомат is like a AK-47, like, you know, big huge gun. And they came in there like, give me your child. They didn't kill her mom or her dad, and apparently nothing, there was no story about the other children, but they're like, give me your child, and they pointed to my grandma and they took her. And what happened is she got frozen in the snow. She got very frozen. She got cold, and I don't know what happened. She survived by a miracle. To be honest with you, with the fact of the way my grandma describes it, what I personally feel is they experimented on my grandma, did some kind of like forgetful rays, did some experiments, and like, I don't know, like sent her home. I don't know. It was a weird thing, but she ended up needing like many surgeries. She had a period problem where she would have to, every time she would get her period, she'd have to stay in the hospital for a week because she had a horrific blood loss. And she almost, I don't know how she had my mom, by a miracle. By a miracle she had my mom. And after that, my mom was her only child, and I think she got a hysterectomy. I hope that's the right. You know what? I'm giving so much details. If I made a mistake, I'm sorry. But I think it's called a hysterectomy, where they got rid of her period or her uterus. Because she was like, she kept bleeding out. She kept being in the hospitals for like sometimes even a month because her period would start and never stop. And she had to get blood donations. It was crazy. So I don't know what the hell you diaper clinic satanic cannibalistic Nazis did to her, but you could choke on diarrhea. And you want to know something? Like I said in my other video, no matter what you did or tried to do, you didn't break her spirit, and she still had a good life. So fuck you and choke on diarrhea. And the thing to the red pill, people, that I really want to say to y'all is, you are all federal agents, and you know exactly that what I'm saying is true. You know that Hitler was no freedom fighter against any Satanists. Hitler was a satanic cannibal. So it is very concerning and strange how you are all lying that he was this good freedom fighter. He was a satanic cannibal who ate shit, and everyone in the Russian vicinity knows that. So what's your excuse? And please don't be like, oh, well, they're stupid. No, they're not stupid. That's the scary part. These are federal agents who are not stupid. They know this information, and they're lying for some reason, you know? So that's the point.